Let's begin with a powerful truth that too many people forget as they grow older. Aging is not the same as weakening. It's easy to believe that as you pass 60, you're supposed to slow down, shrink a little, and surrender a portion of your strength. But I want to challenge that narrative. Muscle loss is not a natural destiny. It's often the result of undernourishment, misinformation, and neglect. The body, even in its 7th, 8th, or 9th decade, responds incredibly well to the right fuel and the right care. The key is knowing how to feed your muscles intelligently, cleanly, and consistently. Now, most people hear the word protein and they immediately think of chicken, beef, or eggs. And sure, those foods have protein, but they often come with baggage, excess saturated fat, cholesterol, and inflammatory compounds. As we age, our digestive systems don't tolerate that load as well. The good news is that plant-based proteins, when chosen wisely, can offer all the essential amino acids the body needs for muscle repair, minus the inflammation, minus the burden on the liver and kidneys, and minus the fatigue that heavy meals can cause. The truth is, your muscles aren't just shaped by exercise, they're sustained by what you eat between workouts. After 60, this becomes even more critical. Your body isn't producing growth hormone at the same pace it used to. Muscle fibers regenerate more slowly. And if you're not feeding those muscles with the right building blocks, they don't just stay stagnant, they decline. This process is called sarcopenia, and it's one of the primary causes of weakness, falls, and loss of independence in older adults. But here's the encouraging part. Sarcopenia is not inevitable. You can slow it dramatically, even reverse parts of it. But you've got to be deliberate. That's where plant-based proteins shine. Unlike highly processed meats or dairy-based shakes that can spike insulin or irritate the gut, plant proteins are naturally rich in fiber, antioxidants, and minerals that work in harmony with your aging physiology. They reduce inflammation, which we now know is a major factor in muscle breakdown. They stabilize blood sugar, preventing the crashes that rob you of energy, and they're often lower in calories, which allows your body to rebuild without storing excess fat. But there's also a deeper reason why choosing plant-based proteins after 60 is such a powerful shift. It's symbolic. It says, I'm not just surviving, I'm evolving. You're not stuck in outdated habits. You're not relying on what you were taught in the 1950s or 60s about what a strong diet should look like. You're adapting. You're listening to your body, respecting it, and giving it the chance to thrive in a new season of life. When you incorporate clean, plant-based proteins into your meals, lentils, quinoa, tofu, seeds, nuts, you're sending a clear message to your body. I care about your future. And I'm trying to eat like I'm 20 again. I'm eating for clarity, for longevity, for strength with sustainability. And that mindset of intention, of wisdom, of forward thinking translates far beyond the kitchen. It shows up in how you move, how you sleep, and how you carry yourself. But let's not forget that the human body is miraculous in its ability to rebuild at any age. Studies have shown that older adults who increase their protein intake, even modestly, while staying physically active, can gain lean muscle mass, improve balance, and reduce the risk of chronic disease. That's not just a nutritional fact. That's hope in action. That's proof that aging doesn't mean giving up. It means getting smarter. Now, I understand it might feel overwhelming to change your eating habits after a lifetime of doing things a certain way, but small sustainable shifts make a massive difference. Maybe you replace a heavy breakfast with a protein-rich smoothie using almond milk, flax seeds, and a scoop of plant-based protein powder. Maybe dinner includes a lentil stew instead of steak and potatoes. These aren't just food choices, they are decisions that support your muscles, your organs, and your energy. And let's take a moment to consider the emotional power behind this shift. Choosing plant-based proteins is also an act of self-respect. You're saying to yourself, I am worth the effort. My future is worth the adjustment. My independence is worth the intention. It's a quiet but deeply personal revolution that takes place every time you prepare your plate. So I'll leave you with this. Your muscles are listening to you. They are waiting for instruction, for nourishment, for renewal. Don't feed them fear. Don't feed them doubt. Feed them what they need to stay strong, to support you, to carry you forward. Not just for the next year, but for the next decade. The strength of your body is a reflection of the choices you make today. Choose to nourish, choose to evolve, and your body will thank you. Not with words, but with strength. When we think about powerful nutrition for aging muscles, the mind rarely jumps to lentils or legumes. Most people overlook them, dismissing these humble foods as secondary players on the plate, maybe a side dish or something you eat when you're cutting back. Qualified, but what if I told you that these modest beans hold some of the most potent muscle-preserving properties known to science, especially for those of us crossing the threshold of 60. Let's think about what really matters in this stage of life. Energy, stability, digestive ease, blood sugar control, and of course, preserving our strength, because with strength comes independence. Lentils and legumes meet all those needs with a quiet but powerful nutritional force. They're not flashy, but they are foundational. Now here's something we often forget. Your muscles are hungry for consistency. They need a steady stream of amino acids to regenerate and recover. Lentils deliver that. Slowly and steadily, without the metabolic roller coaster that comes from processed foods or sugar-laden meals. They are rich in complex carbohydrates that burn slowly, keeping your energy stable and your hunger in check throughout the day. That alone makes them a strategic tool for older adults managing fatigue, diabetes risk, or blood pressure challenges. But their protein content is the star. A single cup of cooked lentils contains around 18 grams of high-quality plant protein, paired with iron, zinc, magnesium, and folate. These aren't just nutrients, they are catalysts for repair. Iron, for instance, is essential for oxygen transport in the blood, and many older adults, especially women, are deficient. That means less oxygen to your muscles, less energy in your cells, and more fatigue. Lentils help close that gap naturally. Let's not forget fiber. Most animal-based proteins contain zero fiber. Lentils, on the other hand, are bursting with it. That matters more than people realize. As we age, our digestion slows, our gut microbiome weakens, and that can lead to inflammation, poor absorption, and constipation. Three things that silently chip away at health. The fiber in legumes not only improves gut health, but also supports cardiovascular function, immune balance, and even mental clarity. The gut-brain connection is very real, and when your digestion is sluggish, your mood and cognition often suffer too. One of the beautiful aspects of lentils and beans is their accessibility. They're affordable, they store easily, they don't require refrigeration, and they adapt to almost any cuisine, whether you're making a hearty soup, a Middle Eastern salad, or a simple dal. This makes it easy for anyone, regardless of cooking skill, to integrate them into daily meals. Let's zoom out for a moment. Beyond their biological benefits, lentils offer something even more profound, a philosophical shift. When you choose lentils over processed meat or sugar-heavy breakfasts, you're choosing patience over quick fixes, depth over surface, and nourishment over indulgence. It's a small, daily act of self-care, a declaration that you value your future enough to act with foresight. And that matters deeply because discipline in your 60s and 70s is different from discipline in your 20s. In youth, we're often driven by aesthetics, performance, or peer pressure. But in later life, discipline becomes more existential. You realize that every food choice carries a ripple effect. What you eat today shapes how you move, feel, and think tomorrow. Lentils may not impress your taste buds like a cheeseburger, but they empower your function. And that's far more valuable. Another common concern I hear is, but can you really build or maintain muscle with plant protein alone? The answer is yes. Absolutely. Numerous studies now confirm that plant-based proteins, when consumed in the right variety and quantity, support muscle mass just as effectively as animal sources. The key lies in diversity and consistency. Pair lentils with grains like brown rice or quinoa, and suddenly you have a complete amino acid profile. Add a handful of nuts or seeds, and you've created a regenerative, anti-inflammatory meal that supports your joints, your heart, and your muscles, all in one sitting. This approach to eating isn't about deprivation, it's about elevation. You're not sacrificing flavor or satisfaction, you're upgrading the quality of your inputs so that the outputs of your body, your energy, your strength, your clarity can reach their full potential. And trust me, your body notices. So the next time you're choosing your meal, ask yourself, is this helping me or holding me back? Lentils and legumes may not shout for attention on the plate, but they whisper strength into your system. They support your body without taxing it. They uplift without overstimulating, and they do it gently, steadily, with remarkable grace. Your strength after 60 isn't found in fads or expensive powders. It's found in wise, humble choices repeated daily. Let lentils remind you that real power lies in simplicity and that the quietest foods often carry the loudest results. Let's talk about a food that's been nourishing civilizations for thousands of years, a seed that's often dismissed as trendy or exotic, but in truth is anything but new. Quinoa. This ancient grain from the Andes is more than a fashionable addition to salads or a gluten-free substitute. It's a complete plant-based protein source, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own. That fact alone elevates quinoa to a unique position in the world of nutrition, especially for people over 60 who are trying to preserve muscle mass, stay energized, and protect their health in a holistic way. Now here's what's remarkable about quinoa. It offers density without heaviness. 1 cup of cooked quinoa delivers around 8 grams of quality protein plus fiber, iron, magnesium, and anti-inflammatory phytonutrients. This isn't just food, it's fuel for repair. For people navigating age, muscle decline, also known as sarcopenia, getting enough of the right protein is critical. You don't need massive portions, you need consistency and quality. Quinoa gives you both. Let's not underestimate what happens at the cellular level. As we age, the efficiency of protein synthesis in the body decreases. That means your muscles need a stronger signal, a richer combination of amino acids to be told it's time to rebuild. Quinoa sends that signal effectively. It does it without the saturated fats of red meat, without the digestive heaviness of processed food, and without spiking your blood sugar like refined grain. Beyond the physical, there's a psychological layer to this as well. When you choose a grain like quinoa, something your body recognizes as healing, you begin to reframe your relationship with food. You're no longer eating out of habit or convenience alone, but choosing intention. That intention becomes a daily affirmation. I'm not letting age dictate decline. I'm building strength on my terms. That mindset is powerful. In fact, it's one of the hidden drivers behind every sustainable transformation story I've ever encountered. There's also a rhythm to eating well that quinoa supports. It cooks quickly, it stores beautifully, it absorbs flavor without overpowering, and it can be the foundation for warm, nourishing breakfast or savory, protein-packed dinners. Add sautéed vegetables, some olive oil, or a sprinkle of seeds, and suddenly you have a meal that supports your muscles, your brain, and your heart all at once. Eating well after 60 shouldn't be complicated. It should be elegant, intelligent, and deeply satisfying. Quinoa allows for that kind of experience. Let's talk inflammation for a moment. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the leading factors in accelerated aging. It contributes to everything from joint pain and fatigue to cognitive fog and cardiovascular disease. And here's where quinoa shows up again, not just as a protein source, but as an anti-inflammatory food. Its polyphenols and flavonoids help cool that internal fire, which in turn allows your body to prioritize healing and muscle repair instead of staying in constant defense mode. There's something else we need to discuss: accessibility of energy. Most people over 60 don't necessarily need more calories. What they need is more available energy, nutrients their body can actually use. Quinoa delivers this. Its balance of complex carbs and protein ensures a slow, steady energy release, not the spike and crash experience so many people get from breads or pastas. You feel more stable, you think more clearly, and your body responds with better recovery, deeper sleep, and improved resilience. And this brings us to the heart of the issue, why all this matters. We don't eat just to survive. We eat to maintain our ability to move, to think, to love, to create, to connect. Every meal is a statement about what we believe our future holds. Choosing quinoa is not a silver bullet, but it is a signal. It tells your body, I value recovery, I prioritize energy, I invest in strength. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being deliberate. When you choose quinoa, you're rejecting the idea that aging must mean decline. You're embracing a mindset of nourishment instead of restriction, of vitality instead of fragility. And when those small choices become habits, something shifts, not just in your body, but in how you carry yourself. You feel more grounded, more capable, more alive. So here's the simple truth. You don't need to search far and wide for exotic solutions to aging. Sometimes the wisest answers come in ancient forms, quiet, reliable, and deeply nourishing. Quinoa is one of those answers. Let it be a foundation, not just in your meals, but in your belief that strength and longevity are still yours to build. Let's talk about something humble, often overlooked, but remarkably potent when it comes to preserving muscle mass and supporting longevity. Chia seeds. These tiny, unassuming black or white seeds might not look like much at first glance, but they carry a nutritional payload that can transform the way your body functions, especially after the age of 60. Think of them not just as a superfood, but as a strategic ally in your effort to stay strong, energized, and resilient. You see, after 60, your body starts to process protein less efficiently. This means you need to be smarter, not just about how much protein you eat, but what kind. Chia seeds offer a complete plant-based protein profile. That means they contain all 9 essential amino acids, a rare quality among plant foods. And while the protein content per tablespoon may seem modest, about 2 grams, it's the bioavailability and synergy of nutrients that make them powerful. When consumed consistently and in combination with other protein-rich foods like oats, almonds, or plant-based milk, chia seeds contribute meaningfully to your daily needs without placing any strain on your digestive system. Let's go a level deeper. Chia seeds are also rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly alpha-linolenic acid, ALA. This matters because most people after 60 are deficient in omega-3s. And that deficiency doesn't just affect the heart or the brain, it directly impacts your muscles. Inflammation, which tends to increase with age, is a silent saboteur of muscle health. Chronic inflammation degrades tissue, slows recovery, and interferes with your body's ability to rebuild. But omega-3s help counteract that process. They dial down the inflammation, which helps keep your internal environment in a more anabolic or growth-supporting state. But perhaps the most beautiful thing about chia seeds is how they work with your body, not against it. When soaked, they absorb water and become gelatinous, forming a sort of natural gel that slows digestion and promotes satiety. This isn't just good for appetite control, it's essential for blood sugar regulation. Stable blood sugar means more stable energy, fewer crashes, and better metabolic support for muscle maintenance. That's something we often overlook. Energy isn't just about calories. It's about how consistently your body can access and use those calories to sustain your daily functions, especially the rebuilding and repair processes that maintain muscle and mobility. There's also a psychological dimension to chia seeds. When you take something this simple, this ancient, and make it a part of your daily routine, you're making a quiet statement to yourself. I care enough about my body to be consistent. That's not a small thing. Discipline and health, especially after retirement age when structure often fades, is one of the most valuable tools you can cultivate. A morning chia pudding, a smoothie thickened with soaked seeds, or even just a teaspoon stirred into lemon water becomes more than a habit, it becomes a ritual of intention. These daily acts of care add up. They become the architecture of long-term wellness. Now, some people might ask, can something so small really make a difference? And the answer is yes, but not in isolation. Chia seeds aren't magic. They're not going to build muscle on their own or replace movement, hydration, or sleep. But when integrated into a thoughtful routine, they amplify everything else you're doing right. They make your morning smoothie more balanced. They keep your gut healthier, which in turn improves nutrient absorption. They help regulate your cholesterol and blood pressure, which supports cardiovascular health, and by extension, your capacity to stay physically active. And let's not forget fiber. With nearly 10 grams of fiber in just 2 tablespoons, chia seeds are one of the richest sources available. Why does that matter for muscle health? Because your gut and your muscles are more connected than we ever imagined. A thriving gut microbiome influences everything from your immune response to your inflammation levels to your mental clarity. When your gut is healthy, your body becomes more efficient, more capable of responding to training, absorbing nutrients, and recovering from stress. So if you're looking for a simple, accessible, no-fuss food to support your strength and stamina as you age, chia seeds are a powerful option. Not just because they're nutrient-dense, but because they reflect a deeper philosophy of health. One that values consistency over complexity, function over fashion, and intentionality over impulse. You don't have to overhaul your life to age well. You just have to begin making wiser choices 1 teaspoon at a time. And sometimes it's the smallest things that carry the greatest power. Chia seeds remind us that true strength doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be consistent.